The GIPF introduced this scheme as a fund that is always attentive to the needs of its members and their aspirations. And the fund has always known that as a retirement fund, that has to ensure that its members retire to a life of comfort once they are in their retirement life. So providing a housing scheme has always been a priority of the fund. The fund initially started already with its current scheme, which is the mortgage-backed home loan scheme, where the house serves as a collateral to a member. So that has already been in the offering by the fund. This new one is just an addition to that fund, but now extending it to where members can participate in a housing scheme where they can build a future retirement home in an unproclaimed area or in our rural areas, as we may say so. So that is what has motivated the fund to be part of this whole scheme.
The media release stated that the scheme was approved in 2021. Can you tell us why is it only being implemented now in 2025?
Well, as you can see, 2021 to the beginning of 2025, it's 3 to 4 years, but definitely this requires also extensive consultation. It also required that the rules of the fund had to be amended, and anything that requires a rule or a legislative amendment does tend to take a little bit longer because you have to have broader consultations. For us, it had to be consultations with our participating employer, and the biggest participating employer being government, and the head of civil service being the Right Honorable Prime Minister. So we had to make sure that we engage those stakeholders. Apart from government, we also have other participating employers like our state-owned enterprises who are part of the GIPF scheme, and they also had to be consulted. So you will appreciate the fact that a myriad of stakeholders had to be consulted, the rules had to be changed, and in the end, we now have a product that following agreement, it will just have to be rolled out.
Which GIPF members are eligible to participate in this pension-backed home loan scheme?
The members who will be able to participate in this scheme will be our active members. So that means it excludes our pensioners, people who are already on retirement, people who are getting spousal or children annuities from the fund. So this only is applicable to members who are in the active service of being a GIPF member.
Mm-hmm. The interest rate is set at repo plus 2.5%. How does this compare to current market mortgage rates?
This is actually a preferential rate because when you look at it, the current repo rate, which is the rate at which any commercial bank is able to borrow from the Bank of Namibia, the current repo rate is 6.75. And the interest rate for the pension-backed home loan scheme will be repo rate plus 2.5, amounting to about 9.25 at the interest rate of 9.25. The current prime lending rate in the country stands at 10.50. So you can clearly see this is a better interest rate for our members, and that's why it's a little bit more of an attractive interest rate compared to what one can get in the current lending prime rate here.
Right. And how will this reach members, including those in remote areas, to be informed about this scheme?
The fund, as you would be aware, has an extensive member engagement program. We constantly do road shows. We are always on radio. So once everything has been finalized, we will roll out this pension-backed home loan scheme extensively through media campaigns nationwide. So our members in every corner of the country will be able to know. We will also advise them to approach their human resources officers of their employers, because that will be the first point of entry for them to apply for this housing loan. So once we roll this out, once we are in the media, once we do radio campaigns, once we do road shows, all our members will be very, very much aware. And we have actually already started 2-3 years ago to just sensitize our members that this scheme is coming. So there is nowhere in Namibia where you will go where members of the GIPF are not aware of this scheme and that it is eminently coming.
And just to tell us, what safeguards are in place to protect members from potential risks such as loan defaults?
The most attractive thing about the scheme is the fact that unlike a mortgage in another situation that becomes your collateral, your house, what here is the collateral is your own pension. So as long as a member is gainfully employed, it's still part of the GIPF, is still part of their participating employer. The risk of defaulting is really minimal. But in any case, should a member either resign or by passing on, there are criteria in place to calculate what the difference is and for the member to be able to pay their difference.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And are there any collaborations with other financial institutions or government agencies to support this initiative?
Definitely what the fund has done is we have two administrators, which is First Capital Housing and Kuleni Fund, which is also a subsidiary of the fund. Mm-hmm. This will be our two administrators. So this will be the people who will be tasked to administer the fund on behalf of the GIPF. Once agreements are done, we will also officially onboard them, meaning they can now then start to roll out the process. And this will be our partners in rolling out this particular scheme.
Anything that you would like to say to the public regarding the scheme?
Yes, what I can say to the public now is definitely they should just be patient. We only await the signing of the memorandum of agreement with us and the Office of the Prime Minister. As of this week, the approved repo rate has also been officially gazetted by government. But once we really have everything signed off, we will launch the scheme officially, and every member of the fund will know that the GIPF is now ready to go. So we just plead for patience, and that members should just only wait to hear official correspondences and communication from the fund so that they can start benefiting from this very groundbreaking scheme for Namibia. That will be a game changer on our housing scheme and the housing landscape in Namibia.